Hi and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to have a look at the a basic mortar repair. So this is a mortar repair to bath stone in the location of an old repair which was carried out in cement, which has caused a little bit of damage to the weathered section of the stone. So our first job is to remove the cement, and once the cement has been removed I then undercut along the line of the stone. So I'll find the point where the stone is still quite sound and solid. By undercutting gives me an area to push the mortar in to give me like a grip. I then carefully remove any loose material that's still on the face of the stone, and this is allow a good adhesion with the mortar. This is just a show of what the end result would be after that process. I then carefully tap over using the back end of a chisel to find any loose stone or hairline fractures in areas that I may need to remove or repair before I start the mortar repair. And once I've found the locations of any hairline fractures, I then make an assessment to whether it can be saved or whether I need to actually remove it. And then in this situation I decided to remove the loose material. You can see here this is the finished product from the undercutting and removing of loose material. I then start to prepare the stone for armatures, and in this I use a brass armature, and the armatures are there to give a little bit of strength to the deeper areas of the mortar repair. I angle the drill in different angles. This allows the armatures to have something to anchor onto. I then bend the end of the armatures. This gives grip in the holes for when I'm placing the armatures into their location. And once all armatures are in place, I then bring my mortar to a consistency which is workable. You want it to be able to hold shape. You don't want it too wet or too dry. So really you have to adapt this to the different projects that you work on. In this situation, the mortar was predetermined by the architect and lime specialist on site. So in a lot of circumstances on construction sites, the mortar will be predetermined and you have to work with what you're given. So you can see here I'm making sure that the mortar goes into the hole to create a decent grip, and you do the mortar repair in layers. So this is the second layer you're seeing here, allowing a good few hours in between each layer, because this is a lime-based mix. And then just ensuring that I stick to my pencil mark, which shows the front nose of the mortar repair, and just ensuring that I still leave a little bit of a tie around the edge of the stone to allow the top coat to still grip into. And then just ensuring that you dampen in between each layer. I then start to build, you could say, spots of locations along the run. So depending on how long the mortar repair is, I will sometimes build areas where I can put a straight edge up against, just to ensure that I'm not putting too much material in or too little. You can see here these are the areas of contact. I then start to build the mortar in between each of those locations, and this gives me a guide on where to work to. And once again, just making sure the area is damp, because what you don't want is the mortar to dry out too quickly and start cracking. You will see I use a combination of two different types of straight edges, literally just made of timber. This one you can see here is fairly flexible, because a lot of the time the masonry that you're working with on the historic buildings will not be straight. And in this circumstance, the stonework from left to right doesn't meet. So I'm having to twist the repair to meet the two locations. And using this thin straight edge, I'm able to bend the straight edge to make contact with the stone. And then using the pencil mark that you saw at the beginning of the video, I use this to give me a guide when cutting in the mortar, as the more points of reference you have, the easier it becomes. So I use a hardwood straight edge. I like to use wood because it's got a texture that allows you to move the mortar around quite nicely. But I use this straight edge just to pick up any high points in the mortar before going back to the more flexible straight edge. This also gives me a reference to how far off the mortar repair actually is from being perfectly straight. Then once again, going back to the more flexible straight edge, just to get the final finish where the mortar meets the stonework. You can see here how I am flexing the straight edge. Hand tool wise, there is a vast amount of different types of trowels and tools that you can use. From experience, I would say just find something that feels comfortable, something that you don't mind working for a fair amount of time with. You'll probably see in this video that I've used a combination of maybe 3 different types of trowels for different applications. This is just my personal preference. You will find as time goes on, you may start to change what type of tools you like to use. You can see when sponging the stone, I tend to dab. By dabbing the stone with the sponge, it does tend to pull the mortar out of the stone rather than smudging and smearing. I hope you found this video of interest. Thank you for watching.